have to say that, Vita, you got my son and me into trouble a little bit without knowing, because she runs Chennai FC, which is a big football team. And they were playing against Bangalore. And she was in Bangalore, and she sent us the tickets. So, of course, my son, being the soccer football fan he is, we went there. And we were watching, and, of course, there was her and all her star owners, and all of them were there. We were also there cheering. Apparently, one little clip went into the television, and my son's friends called him and said, "How come you were cheering for Chennai and FC when Bangalore was playing there?" So they were very upset with him. But he was like, "I don't care. I got to see it close." That's all he cares about. So continuing to talk about that, Vita, you support Chennai and FC, and you also started Ultimate Table Tennis and stuff. So what is the role of club ownerships in actually furthering a sport in a country?
I think it's not only the role of a club or an owner, but everyone present here today. It is our collective duty to ensure that we promote sports. In some of the earlier sessions, we heard about cardiovascular diseases, diabetic capital of the world, Parkinson's, and so on and so forth. And how do we avoid all this? And I think there's only one simple answer for that, is to promote sports. I would ask all of you all present here today, either you have children, grandchildren, colleagues, or neighbors, friends, whatever, how many of them really play sport actively or professionally? So why is it that we are not promoting sports in this country? I think we need to make parents believe that there is a good earning, a living out of sports. Yeah. And that's the only thing that will really change the mindset. Yeah. It's always this chicken and an egg story. Sports makes heroes, or heroes make sports. Yeah. Fans make leagues, or league make fans. Yeah. So we need to ensure that we have enough heroes. We need to make sure that enough number of people play sport. Over the weekend, how many of y'all really go out to attend a game? How many of y'all go and play a sport with your child? Why can we not do that instead of going and eating popcorn and watching a movie? Pardon me, there's nothing wrong in watching a movie, but I think that should not be the only source of entertainment. Why should we only go out for meals? Yeah. Why can we not just go out as a family and see a game?
I was in Santa Barbara recently because my son was playing a sport, and it's amazing. All the neighbors just came to watch the local college sport. Their kids are not going there to college or anything. Just because they live in that neighborhood, they just come to play and pay $5, $10, whatever it takes, I actually want to ask you, as I shared my story, your son decided to go professionally into table tennis. What was your initial reaction to that, and did he teach you about sports, or were you always into doing this?
I have grown up with sports in my DNA. I was never a professional player, but I was always encouraged to play multiple sports, and that's exactly what I did with my children. Every day, he would try out a different sport, including golf, squash, swimming, name it, and that sport was played by him. And there was one incident that really changed his decision of playing table tennis. My mother had to undergo a medical surgery. As post-operative care, we decided to move to her home. And in her house, she had a table tennis table. Of course, with the bundle of energy that I have in my house, my son Mudit would go down and play every sport. He was playing table tennis that day. One gentleman came and he said, "Can I play sport with you?" Can I play table tennis with you? He asked. And he started playing. I didn't know who he was, nor did my son. Later, we discovered that he was an ex-national champion of India. And then he said, "Can I come and teach you?" And I thought maybe he's just wanting to look for a tuition, to be fair over here. And I said, sure, why don't you come twice, thrice a week, whatever works for you. And that's how he started playing table tennis. Before that, he was a swimmer, and a swimmer where the coach said that he will definitely reach Olympics. There came a time when he had to decide between the two, and he said he's going to pursue table tennis. As a mother, I had very mixed feelings because here there was this big dream of a child going and representing the country to play Olympics. And on the other hand was table tennis, where I don't think he was even a school champion. But I said, in our house, we let each one chase their own dreams. So as part of that, we said he can do what he wants to do. And today here he is. So I'm glad he's
So today he
taken up
plays
table tennis.
international. Tell us a little bit about
So
where he
he's
is.
world number 175, and he's also just represented the Universiade Games, which is the second largest games after Olympics. And he was just one medal away, but that's sports. I think it's a great equalizer, and it's what you do over there.
Yeah. Actually, let's talk a little bit about that, of how it teaches you leadership skills. Because one of the things is, I watch my son, it's like up and down and up and down. Today you go to play, you don't know if the coach is going to start with you or not, and then he starts with you, you don't know whether you're going to play well or not. It's, for a 17, 18, 19-year-old, it's very mentally anguishing, but they have to learn how to deal with it. So tell me a little bit about, have you seen, you train a lot of people, you see this, is what kind of life skills, leadership skills sports teaches you? I mean, apart from team spirit and stuff, but there are certain other things it teaches you, I think.
There is a proven study which says that if you're good at sports, you are equally good and accomplished student. There is another study which is done by Stanford, and it says that if you are a good sports person, you will be a better leader because you will make better decisions. That's something that you constantly make in sports. You will also have better HR skills because you are interacting with different players. You are playing with different partners. You got to put up with each one's failure. You also learn to deal with failures better because it's not that every time a player plays, he or she is going to win. So there is several studies which says it'll make you a better leader. And if you look at data of Wall Street, they said highest number of lacrosse and rowing team members from Stanford are now part of Wall Street Journal. So this is just one data that I am aware of, but I'm sure there is plenty more data like that which only proves over and again that if a person plays sports, will definitely help him or her at later stage in life with larger problems to deal and solve.
You and Jalaj also started the Dani Foundation, and you talk about constructive philanthropy, because I think with great wealth comes great responsibility also. You are like between Asian Paints family and the Reliance family and your family and that family, you have the capacity to actually make a change because you have the reach, etc. So how are you, and you've already done a lot, I'd love for you to talk about how have you used your connections, your network, to actually make a difference in the sports at grassroots level?
We do a lot of work in Gujarat. So we have a public-private partnership where we do high performance center with about 300 residential athletes and in 7 to 8 Olympic sports. But this is only one part of it, where these kids have got over 360 medals in 3 years only. So that's just, I think, scratching the surface. We also have started a transformation in society via sports project. It's called Project Chalang. If some of y'all are familiar with Hindi, Chalang means a leap. And here we have a leap of faith that we will bring about this transformation through sports. If you look at India, we have one of the youngest population in the world. I think an average population is 39, if I'm not mistaken, if the data is correct. And that means they are a bundle of energy. They are the eyeballs, they are the consumer, they are the spender. So how do you use this energy in a productive way? How do you use this energy to bring about a change? And they are the ones who are going to really bring about the change. So we have started this project, and when you involve this youth in sports, they are going to keep away from all the miscreants. They're going to use energy in a better way.
Yeah.
And they are going to be not a problem for their parents for sure. So as part of this, we also support a project called Annamrita. It's like a midday meal program. So there are a lot of children whose parents send them to school because they don't have to feed them. It's really sad to say this, but that's the truth. And it solves two problems. One is that the children get a nutritious meal, and second is you keep them away from child labor.
Yeah.
So the third thing that we do as part of this is to encourage sports, where they have to play 1 hour of sports in school every day. So it just solves multiple social problems. So I think if these are the kind of changes that we bring about in society, in the mindset and thinking of people, then I think it's a good start for us as a country.
So in philanthropy, actually, when you go out to do these things, what sort of challenges have you faced? I mean, have you seen where people say they'll do something and they don't, or it's difficult to keep the kids because the parents want them to get back to work? I mean, what kind of challenges did you face?
I think grassroots is easier. As I said, children come to school, they get a meal, and they get active. The problem that I see is in urban India, where in class 10, lot of children who have promising sporting career give up sports because they want to study. And I don't know whether it's them who want to study or it's the parents who very often tell them that now you got to become an engineer, you got to become a doctor, or you got to become a technician or whatever, you know. And those are the challenges that we need to face. And for that, we need to make sure that there is a good lifestyle, there is good earning, and there is a lot of respect that they get out of sports. And if that happens, and I don't see a reason why parents will tell them that don't go in for sports, but instead take up another alternative career to have a better quality of life. And I think that transformation we are already seeing in India. There are so many players who are now heroes, and many of them are now household names, which was not the case about a decade ago.
Right, and beyond cricket, that too.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely beyond cricket. Cricket is something that has always been, or rather been encouraged and promoted in India before independence because of the Britishers. Now we see that there are lots of other leagues, lots of other sports that are equally or at least going in that direction and becoming more popular, are becoming more watched. Like, I can only speak about the table tennis league that I own along with Neeraj Bajaj. That we are probably one of the widely and the most watched table tennis league in the whole world now. That itself is great because now I'm getting offer from other countries saying, can you come and do it in America? Can you come and do it in Japan? Which itself I think is very encouraging for me and very promising.
Yeah. We actually, one time we had two people playing table tennis as a part of the talk. So you could watch people play table tennis.
Ping pong diplomacy.
Yes. My last question to you, Vita, is really about a long-term way of thinking. For any country to become really good in a sport, it's a long haul. You just can't do it overnight. And actually, I think for me, in front of my eyes, I've seen what China did at Olympics, really in the last 20, 25 years. Now, you've taken on soccer and football, and you have Chennai FC, and in India, we have a lot of leagues. We are really promoting football in a big way. tell me a little bit about what do you think is the long-term plan and when do you think India could be in a FIFA World Cup? Is it a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year journey? What does it take?
For any sport to have an impact, they say it takes a generation.
Yep.
And that's what is true in India. But let me tell you, there is no better time than now in our country to promote sports and to encourage sports. I mean, I don't think ever before any of our prime ministers or any of our government said, "Kheloge to khiloge." It's the first time we are talking about women empowerment. It's the first time we are talking about sports. It's the first time we are talking about physical literacy. So I think these are, again, all steps which will only take us towards our dream of becoming a sporting superpower. When we started table tennis, we had about 3 or 4 people in the top 100 across all age categories. In last 5 years, in table tennis, we have more than 17 players who are in top 100 in all age categories.
Yeah.
So like this, whether it is football or any other sport, it'll take a while for us to ensure that we are up there. And for that, we have to make sure, as I said, that sport is aspirational and inspirational, both.
Yeah.
So for that, there is one hero that we need. Suddenly, you will see half of India wanting to wanting to follow athletics because of our great Neeraj Chopra. And I think we need many more Neeraj Chopras to have people follow different sports. It was one Abhinav Bindra all this while.
Yeah.
Or it was one Pulela who has created so many champions. And we need many more like this. So it'll take a while, but I think it's a sure shot. And I think now the whole mindset is changing, and it's a question of time.
And also new superheroes who are not necessarily players, right? So if we had one of the big sports analysts came from India, or a sports analytical company, like a Moneyball came from India, or a fantastic coach came from India or something, I think that could also change things.
Yeah, so it's the entire ecosystem. When you talk about sports, it's not just players, it's the physio with it, it's the coach with it, it's assistant coach, mental fitness trainer, nutritionist, even event management, as a matter of fact. Because if it's not them, there'll be no leagues happening, there'll be umpires, there'll be referees. So it just comes with a whole battalion of, and this leads to job creation. So,
yeah.
Along with it will be media. I mean, if I look at the popularity of UTT, I mean, I cannot discount the fact that there is, Geo promoting it. There's TV 18, and that is what makes a big difference. So there's a whole ecosystem that comes with it to ensure that the entire pyramid succeeds, whether it is top-down or bottom-up, from grassroots to high-performance center.
So what would you like to see happen in India in what you're doing in, say, in 10 years? What would you like to see happen here?
The greatest dream of any player is to get an Olympic medal. And I think we as a country should also aspire for the same. It's one Olympic medal that makes a huge difference, whether we like it or not. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about. So I'm really hoping that one day in table tennis we get one too. I mean, we already got Asian medal. So now for us, next is Olympics.
Great. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks.
Thank you.